Bienvenidos and welcome a Cositas Mommy Never Told Me, a podcast that dives deep into the Latin cultural norms that have long haunted the feminine genre. Móntate and buckle up porque it's going to be a roller coaster ride. ¡Nos fuimos!
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
We didn't even plan that.
I know. It's just vibes.
It's vibes. You know what? I have these affirmations cards that I'm going to pick one, but how
Let's
are
do it.
you?
I'm doing good, girl. I am as good as could be expected. You know, a lot of shit going on, a lot of balls in the air. Not the good balls, but just
I was
going to
say, you're on the wrong podcast to complain about balls.
No, actually, sidebar. So at the gym, like there's this thing where you go like that to do like an exercise, and it has balls at the end. It has a rope, and then it has balls at the end.
Yes.
Right? So the girls and I call it balls to the face, balls to the face. So every time the trainer's trying to tell us to do something, they be like, "Y'all crazy."
Balls to the face.
To the face.
We got balls to the face
balls
today.
To the face. Balls to the face. Yeah. But anyways,
I love balls to the face. I mean, whatever.
Yo.
I love that workout. I was doing that today, actually, but with bands.
Oh, okay. We
no balls.
Arms. We did arms. We
don't have
today.
balls.
But we did upright rows with the
I did that today too. We did this. How was your weekend?
Good. My weekend was good. Let's see. What did I do?
Oh, we went to Don Omar.
Oh shit. We went to Don Omar on Friday, right? We went to Don. Yeah, it was Friday.
On Thursday.
See? We went to Don Omar on Thursday. That concert was really good. Our friend, Jay Lyrics, cut his hair and later told us that.
Shout out to Jay.
And later told us that he was actually sick. Don Omar was sick. He had the flu for a week, and he was still mending. So he was like, when he was cutting hair, he was just, he was cool, but he was just really quiet and like drinking tea and just being, and I was like,
preparing.
You won't even fucking know that he was sick. Do you think that's why he kept bowing?
Oh my, here we go. Okay, so it's so funny because shout out to Alicia and Sonia who went with us.
Oh my
God.
A
good time. These are hidden creatures. So you have people like me and Diana who are like, you get what you get, you don't get upset from jump. And then you have these hidden creatures named Sonia and Alicia.
So Sonia's my sister.
And Alicia is my best friend Freddie's sister.
And
who I texted him as soon as I got home. First of all, she's a huge fan of the podcast.
Oh my God.
But as soon as I got home, I texted Freddie like, why you been hiding Alicia?
I know the reason why. Because we going to like her better.
And I've known her since she was like 13 or 14. And I've always hung out with her because Diana was like, I wonder what she's like. I was like, she's so cool. But she's so cool.
She's so fucking cool. Love her. Her energy, her vibes. Her fiance is so happy. And they're so lucky.
And she's so happy too.
She's so very lucky to be marrying Miss Alicia. Because Alicia is the vibes. My gosh. So nice.
So we went to Don Omar with these two gems. Again, it's so funny because it's like, I love discovering, because Diana's sister Sonia is very, I would say reserved maybe. But she was not comfy and I loved it.
She was.
I don't know if she listens to the podcast, but I loved it.
Sometimes she does. No, my sister is, she is very reserved. There's been times, so my daughter is a little bit more like my sister.
100%.
And her daughter, and her daughter Sienna is more like me. So if we ever go out and it's just me, her daughter Sienna, and my sister's like, oh my gosh, she's so embarrassed because we're always.
She's like, double dose of crazy. I can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
So she's always like embarrassed or walking away, like, you guys need to stop being so loud, that type of shit. But but when she does get comfortable, she's hilarious. My sister's
she
fucking
was
witty. She's quick.
comfy.
Like, forget it. Yeah.
And I was like, I told her like 4 times, I'm like, yo, you're a fucking businesswoman, kid. Like, everything is like, because I was saying, damn, I have so many shoes and bags and clothes I want to sell. And I used to do these pop-ups, but it's more work than it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I'm going to do Poshmark, but it's so much work. And she was like, why don't you just pay someone to do it? I was like, oh my God. Something so like obvious that I would think about like for a client, I'd be like, okay, so we need to bring someone in. But for myself, I'm like, I don't have the time.
I don't have the capacity.
And when she said it, it was so genius. But then, both of them in the back seat, I just couldn't. I was like, this is an epic. The ride, since the minute we got together. That should have been an episode.
Because we talked about everything. We talked about, again, I brought up, lesbians and fucking strap-ons. And then we talked about balls, and we talked about phalluses, and we talked all the way down to the casino. So we were having all these conversations, and it's so funny because Alicia said something like, I can't believe this is like a live podcast. You guys are like this in real person.
Yes.
And I said,
there was a part where we said, baby, I'm toddler arm. And Alicia literally looked at Sonia and she gave her like the difference, like the key. She was like, yes. So baby arm, toddler arm, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm just, she's given the key to, the Cositas podcast. I was like, this is hysterical. She's, baby arm, toddler arm, get it, size, girth. Okay.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was
funny. So all that to say, we had a great time, but then we got there. First of all, I would have never guessed that he wasn't feeling well.
Me neither.
But second of all, you know why you got the flu, Dongaman? Because you're wearing too many clothes and you're sweating.
Cold, girl. He was probably cold.
Sweating. It's impossible to be cold on stage with light, with the heat.
Wore a leather outfit for everything.
And then,
don't get me wrong, the leather outfits were nice, but
not only leather, with the fur.
With the fur, so his chinny chin was sweat. Tenía que estar
dale. Yo, it was, and then I called it out. I looked at Alicia. I was like, the next look is patent leather. Boom, patent leather.
Bendito. No, but he kept shouting out Puerto Rico. I mean, he was shouting out all Latinos, and because he's huge in Latin America, but he made sure to rep Puerto Rico. He kept calling Carolina out and all this stuff. So that's amazing. I love and he's so humble. You could tell that he was just taken aback at the way that everybody was singing every single song. Not only that, there was some songs where I was like, what the fuck is this? Where in the catalog?
Yeah.
No. But then there was also songs that I was like, I can't believe that he sang. I forgot that he sang. You know what I'm
ella, no me importa que ella sea mayor que yo. I was like, yes. But the bow that Diana is referring to is that, and Alicia looked at me, and I was funny when she said it to me. I was like, maybe that's why. And I was like, now I can't unsee the damn bow. So he bowed after every song. So after the first 2 songs, I was like, oh my God, is he going to bow after every song? And he did.
And he did.
But Alicia was like, well, I'm sure when you go to shows and things, you see more than what a normal person would see, like just the concert. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I see like the production that goes behind it. Like, I'm always thinking like how much that costs. Oh, the pyro, that's more money. Oh, this or the visuals. Like, they spent a lot of money on the visuals.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the lasers and
oh my God, the visuals for it to be like a.
If there was any reggaeton concert that I was hoping Rachel would really, really love, this was the one, because she kept texting me like, I don't know these songs.
None.
But she knew like Dale Don Dale, and she knew like, Danza Cordura, and she, like the hits, right? Yeah. She knew those. But she was just like, I'm just in awe of the production. Like
Yo,
the stage.
they spent money because that's all pre-production with the dancers. That's not. It was like
and they were
digital
good dancers too.
Yeah, the dancers totally Freddie's type. The whole time I texted him a picture. I was like, "You missed out."
Yo, he missed out
on the
all
concert.
bodies out there too. There were some bodies. There were some bodies out there.
Baddies.
There were some bodysuits that didn't have the body with them, but there were some bodysuits with bodies. I was like, okay, look at that.
So there were some suits and there was some bodysuits. Okay. And I'm not gonna say you like it, I love it, because it was not you like it, I love it. Okay.
No, some of these things you just don't show. And I mean,
some of these things you do not have friends. You do not have friends. And that's when me and Diana look at each other and we be like, they not your friends. They not your friends, girl.
But then I look at it in another way, right? Because I did I look at hold on. Let me tell you. I look at it in the another way. And this is just one other way. Like, I'm not even going to go crazy into it. But if a guy likes what he sees, then they know that they like all of her. And that's it. They don't have to put a girdle on. They don't got to do this, A, B, and C. You know, whatever is out, this is me, motherfucker. And if you is a chubby chaser, and if you like what you see, this is what it is. And there's a lot of body positivity out here. So,
but you know what?
But I'm not gonna say if you like it, I love it, because, like you said, some shit is just not for the eyes.
Right.
Some shit
because
is just
I'm not a body shamer at all.
Do you,
at boo? All. At all. Lizzo, like, you want to be big and bold and whatever? Got it. Mm-hmm. And by the way, a lot of couples were there. A lot of couples were there, and a lot of the people or the women were coupled up. I'm not saying they were coupled up with men that I'd be interested in, but at least they got a man.
Nice. Be nice. Okay. Everybody can't be beautiful. I mean, the couple in front of us, she was really pretty for him.
That was weird. The one we thought was the daughter and son.
You thought, because I was like,
the daughter and the father. Well, so here's the thing. There was. I didn't see the kissing. It wasn't the daughter and father, but it was a weird moment because Don Omar said, you know, and to everybody whose parents brought them, and then their friend was like pointing over him, and I was like, first of all, bitch, don't act like you didn't look at me immediately and be like, wait, hold on. We both said
them kissing, so I didn't think they were parents.
Okay. But so it wasn't. Maybe, you know what? I thought about after the fact, maybe their kids sent them to the show.
Oh, true.
Because the friend definitely pointed over them.
Was older. Older.
When the kids shout out happened.
Mm-hmm. And he was hugging at her the whole fucking concert.
The whole time. But you know what? I love that. See, but that's where you and I are different. I love that.
2 hours?
I love that.
Nigga, my back sweating.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
No, I can't. I don't even want to hold
hands. A minute goes by and there's no body contact with you and I. I'm like, are we mad?
I'm good.
We beefing? What's happening? We not good? I love it.
2 hours?
I love it.
2 hours?
Be all over me. All over me all the time. I need to have all over me all the time. All the time. All the time. Body touching, thigh touching when you're driving. I want you to put your hands on my thigh type. I love that. Love it.
Listen, I love my husband, but if he did that, I'd probably look at him and be like, what you want to happen?
But that's so amazing how we are so different in that aspect, because I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I want you to be all over me.
I've never liked it.
I want the energy. I'm not into like kissing and all that in public, but I love the, like, when a guy put his hands on your lower back, or like if you're in line, just like it almost like lets me know that he sees me. You know what I'm saying? And not for validation, like, but more like.
But he had his arm around her for 2 hours.
When I catch you later type.
For 2 hours?
Yeah.
And they were doing fucking like selfie videos the whole time. I'm like, are you guys
the whole time?
The concert?
The whole time.
Are you watching the concert?
Let's talk about that, because I think
a lot of people.
I didn't really take videos or picture. I took pictures of us, like me, you, Alicia, and Sonia, but I just really feel like, and not to get too deep or whatever, but I really do feel like as a society, like the people in front of us were live broadcasting the concert the entire time.
Okay, so Rocio looks over and says, just in case you don't remember the concert, you can watch it later.
You can catch it
Or
live.
call your friends and tell them they can watch it right now. Live.
Right now. Right now.
I was dying.
And then you look around and it's like, you know what's funny? That if you think about it, how many times have you gone back and looked at a video or something from a concert that you've taken?
I don't go back and look at it. I show people it. Like when we went to the Bad Bunny in the Yankee Stadium.
Okay, but Bad Money, Yankee Stadium, next level. Yeah, that's not even a good example.
But
that's not even a good example.
I took a little bit of the video. I took a little bit of the Omar so that I could, when he was singing "La Noche Está con Philly," whatever, so I could show my husband because that's the Philly song for Copa.
Oh.
So
okay.
No, but other than that, like I took videos of us for me to put on the story, us singing. Yeah. But I think like when I appreciated when we went to go see Kevin Hart live and he had us lock up our phones because that had been the first time, and I want to say in about 10 to 15 years, that I actually sat down and watched a show with no electronic presence. The only electronic presence was the fucking cameras, the videotaping the shit, and sound guy, all that shit. But it wasn't like this, where everybody's always like trying. Yeah. So I really, although it was weird at first, I was like, what the fuck? And my phone kept vibing. But
yeah, because the funny thing is you put your phone in this pocket, in this bag, and it locks. So then you still have your phone.
Right.
It's and almost worse. It's like different if they put them in a locker or something and you go get it. But then you're like,
I was
my phone.
Wait, I was sitting next to Freddie. Sorry, Freddie. And sorry, Alicia. Because your brother was bugging him a little bit because the shit kept going off too.
He was hoping. He was hoping it was something.
You can't get in the bag.
Go in the bed.
You can't. You had to wait. No,
can't go in the bed.
But the concert was really good. I had a good time.
I thought it was good. I don't think I've ever seen him live, actually. I think that was the first time seeing him live.
That was my first time seeing him live too.
I've always he's gorgeous.
He's very handsome.
His voice has always been. He's always had an amazing his singing voice.
Bajapanti, and that means the panties just come down. And his
too.
He's tall. You can tell he's a tall man, and he's a burly man.
I know. I love burly.
I'm married to a big, tall, burly man. No, but I love myself. I love myself a burly man, and he is that. So when he came out, you could tell because we usually when we go to see like when you go see reggaetoneros, they're usually like 5'4", 5. You know what I'm saying? They're not small.
And that brings me to another thing. Yeah.
No.
I love my Latino men, but we were in a sea of midgets. Oh my God. I respect the small kings, but damn.
But I mean, I think
everyone was small.
I think it's always been like that because when you go to like a casona, right in Hartford, it's a whole bunch of little motherfuckers. I used to go in there with my 5-inch heels, and I used to be like, I should have rethought this.
Yeah.
Because I am towering an Amazon woman over all these little ass men. Now, mind you, when I was single, that shit did not fly. I want to look up to my man. Literally, figuratively. So I didn't like the little. I can't look at you.
Yeah, I don't gravitate towards little men, but I definitely have had small kings, short kings. Anywho, so Don Omar was amazing. Mm-hmm. You got some really amazing news yesterday or this weekend. This Friday.
Last hour. Like, I'm sure that probably some other kids got theirs later, but so my daughter was telling me the beginning of last week, she said, Mom, Howard, which is her dream school in Washington, D.C. She goes, Mom, Howard is releasing their decisions on Friday, which was the 12th, I believe, at 7 o'clock. And I said, damn, 7 o'clock p.m.? So she said, yeah. So 7 o'clock came and went. We were looking at the time because I was recording her, her reaction and stuff. And so 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? If y'all want my daughter, you know what I'm saying? I was getting that type
Let
of
us know now.
we got 9 other colleges, so whatever. So like around 8:55, she got it, and I was like, okay, hold on. So I FaceTime my sister and I FaceTime my niece, and we were gonna FaceTime everybody else, but it was just like she wanted to open it, so she opened it in a second. But it was so funny because I got the video I'm gonna show you. She's like, I think that's the first time I ever seen her breathe.
When she was about to open it?
When she was about to open it, she was like,
because she's so reserved. She's so like,
she doesn't show emotion. She's always like really put together. Like even when she crashed my car, she was really put together until the cop came and then she was losing it. And I was like, it's okay. It's fine. Cars can get fixed.
As long as you're fine.
As long as you're good. Like, and that is not the response I would have got from my mother, but we ain't
at all.
Because when I got shot at in her minivan because they thought I was Latin King, she blamed me for that. But we ain't gonna do that. So when I was in high school. But yeah, when she got it, she was just so excited. Yeah, and she was so happy. I'm so happy for her.
That's amazing. That's an accomplishment.
DC, so yeah, we're gonna go and check it out on Friday, and yeah, so there's gonna be some fundraising. There's gonna be some GoFundMe's. There's gonna be some food selling, some raffles. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of shit. So y'all gonna be tired of me.
I love that. I love that. I know. I was telling Diana when Diana let me know. I was like, I mean, as if there was any question, but also, so Phil went to Howard. Puff went to Howard. Howard has always been like it's almost like even if you don't, the Mecca. So even if you don't join a frat or sorority, which then heightens your relationships, a lot of successful people went to Howard, and this was years ago. Mm-hmm. So then since Kamala Harris, our vice president, graduated from Howard, I'm sure that the interest level has increased, mm-hmm. and their acceptance level has decreased.
Mm-hmm. At 32%, girl.
32%, which is basically nothing.
Yeah, so it's crazy because my daughter was like, Mom, they only have a 32% approval. I think I have a very good chance of getting in, but just in case, this is my number 2, this is my number 3. And I was just like, you won't get it. I wasn't even.
It's funny because I was very much like, she's going to get in.
Like my niece was like, no fucking duh.
Not for real. Didn't you text me and I said, duh, was there any question? Like, congrats, but we knew this was gonna happen. I hope she likes the campus. I hope it's what she thought. I mean, I've been there. I don't know if they've changed much, but you know, I think it's about when Howard is one of those schools. Like now that I'm older in retrospect, I regret not regret, but I would have made different decisions. I would have joined a sorority because the relationships and the networking, I would have even become an AKA. But at the time you're so young that you're like, oh, they only accept Black women. But that's not what it is. Mm-hmm. But now as an adult, yo, the relationships and the way they look out for each other is next level.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So even going to Howard, like you told me you called Phil and he was like bison all day. It's like this passion and this love for it's this automatic connection and unity of like, we automatically know, we get it. We know.
You know what? It's so funny because Phil was immediate. I told him I got a couple friends down there. So I'm gonna lean on him heavy to be like, yo, if ever my daughter gets in the pinch until I get there, can she call you? That type of situation. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I got some friends too. I said, I'm sure you
do. Them is the friends in the pinch.
I was about to say, your friends are probably the ones I want to get in contact with.
You know, those kind of pickles.
Oh, shit. No, but.
I'm so proud of her. It's so amazing.
I'm so very proud and happy for her. And that's her dream school. It used to be Harvard a long time ago. And then she started just like navigating, the internet and looking up HBCUs, just because her essay was in part about her being Afro-Latina and her being able to, navigate different relationships with different races, different cultures. And she just wanted to immerse herself in all Black school and, tap into that side of her culture. And yeah. So when I read it, I was like, you want this? My baby, my little girl. who is a woman. Oh Lord Jesus, that butt.
I
Oh my God.
know. My God.
No, but and I also had a conversation with her, and she was probably gonna kill me if she ever knew that I was talking about this. But I told her that, have you and Hunter, her boyfriend, have you had a realistic and transparent conversation about having this relationship and going into college into it? So then I was like, I'm gonna take my mom hat off. I'm gonna put the woman, not even the friend, the woman hat on, because let me tell you, there's some fine ass motherfuckers down in DC.
That part.
That part. So she said, they've tapped in it a little bit, and he's going to North Carolina. So if they're close enough, so whatever. But I'm very proud nonetheless.
But even that is such a mature conversation to have at that age, because, and it just shows so much about her and him and how independent they are in their relationship. And it's like, it's so refreshing to see young people be so laser focused, because I feel like people like Alyssa, like your daughter, like my best friend Shirley's daughter got into Spelman, shout out to Olivia. And they're just so like laser focused on sports, on getting in, on figuring like the next step. But I also love that like Olivia is Afro Latina too. Her dad is Black and Shirley is Ecuadorian, and she wanted to go to Spelman. It was like, I love that maybe it's not overall, but that especially the young women around me are so dedicated to being culturally aware, culturally respected. It's very much like, no, I want to be amongst my people. Like, I don't want to go somewhere and be like one of 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like what that does to you for your future is like, it fucking empowers you and fires you up to show up anywhere and be like, nah, that's not what I subscribe to. It's like Angelina Jolie's daughter goes to Spelman. I love that she wanted to go to Spelman, because she's like, I want to be around, I'm Black.
Yeah, and it's going to also further support the foundation of her being able, like you say, like when you go into a room and say, I belong here. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So if you are feeling any type of doubt, then guess what? So it's such a great thing. I'm like really happy for her. And I mean, she has all the way from my my 18-year-old son to he's gonna be he is 18. Wait. But anyway, from my youngest son to my oldest son, my best friends, I'm sure you, and who else? Talk about when homecoming comes, we
I'm sorry. We in homecoming weekend for show. So I've gone to Howard Homecoming with Phil a few times. It's such a good time.
Oh,
I mean, it's next level. And that's the thing where I feel like I didn't have that college experience at all. So it's like there's so many other things to think about when you're making your decision for college, like, and I didn't have that with my mom. My mom went to college as an adult, so she could never share with me like a legacy story or like, the campus or like homecoming or whatever. I didn't have that college experience. So it's so nice to see when I used to go with Phil, we went a few times. And I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, this is just good. It almost like, damn, if I could turn back time,
girl,
I would make different decisions.
Me too. I would have applied to because I went on the Black College Tour in Hartford High. They offered a Black College Tour.
I know, you shared that.
And I went, and I was just like, oh shit. It was like, oh, new world. Like, I was looking around like, Jesus, I belong here. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I would have applied to one of the many schools that because I was just like, yo, this is like cool, and the dudes and just the environment. And the dudes.
Twice that you've mentioned the dudes. Now 3 times that you've mentioned the dudes. Now 4.
I know, yeah, but and you know what's crazy? My daughter, while she was looking, before she even applied, she was already researching and just going onto the sites before they washed them. And I was like, what do you mean by washing them? And she was like, well, some of these colleges, they start putting like, DEI type stuff. They'll put a Black person here, and then they put an Asian person here, and then they have a group, and there's like 2 white people, a Spanish person, an Asian person. And she said, that's not realistic. That's not what it is.
Then you get there and you're like, this is not reflective of your website.
Right. And when we went to Hofstra, she was very excited about Hofstra. The only thing with Hofstra is that they have the school and academics on one side of the highway. Then you have to take a bridge to go to housing. So it's separated. So if you are going to a class and then you have, let's say, a class at 9 and then you have a class at 2, you have to go back and then you got to go back. Like, it's so crazy. Like,
it's too much.
Yeah, it was too much. But she liked the diversity. I was surprised at the diversity at Hofstra. And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, within teachers and everything. So these are all the things she looks at. She wants to make sure that she's represented in the teachers. She wants to represent representation in the student body. She wants to see representation not only online, but like what she call it, the clubs. Like, she wants to make sure that the things that she's interested in. Like, and I was just like,
The
okay,
ERGs,
like, she's already like, okay, do you need my help? No, oh, I'm here.
I don't feel like Dianise needs any tutoring in self-love, self-care.
At all, which is gonna be our subject. You know what's funny now that you say that? Last thing about my daughter. So my younger son and my daughter, so they're a year apart, 14 months to be exact. And when she was little, she would sing like you would think that she thought she was Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston. Like, she would sing like loud, and she wasn't really a good singer, right? So I would be like, "Yes, mama. Go ahead, mama. You sing that song." And then I would give her a microphone. I got her a speaker, and I would be like, "Yes, you go, girl." Like, and anything that she wanted to do. Not only her, but my kids my boys as well. And my son used to be like, "Shut up. You don't sing well. Mommy is lying to you." But she told me, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, she was like, "Mom, I really appreciate that you always see the best in me, even though sometimes I don't see it in myself." And I was like, that's not true. What are you talking about? And she was like, I couldn't sing. I was like, well, shit, I wanted you to fucking be the singer that in your head, you was the best singer. So
that's
right.
Sing.
Fuck it. It's not going to cost somebody nothing. Do your thing. I got you microphones and everything. I got you a little headset, whatever you want to do.
Yes, Britney Spears.
And she was like, "But I couldn't sing." I was like, well, yeah, but
I love that.
But you got to encourage, and whatever it is that they're passionate about in that moment or in that phase or in that time in their life. And if it's something that doesn't grow or whatever, then fuck it. We'll go to the next thing. But school has always been her shit. So listen.
That's not a bad shit to have.
Listen, it's not. She ain't get that for me. So I was too social.
As you mentioned, as you mentioned the boys 4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
But anyways, self-love and self-care.
Self-love and self-care. But shout out to all the young women, especially, just like so focused and world changers that are coming. It's funny because this whole weekend we were in New York with Sophie, and everyone's like, "Oh my God." And they just look at her like, even at Chelsea Market, she's walking, she's like, "Hi. And people, it's like she'll just brighten up anybody's day, and she has no idea she's doing that. And it's just like, I can't wait to see what she does in this world, because she is bananas.
I mean, the apple
doesn't fall far. I was saying, so I met up with my girlfriend Raven, and we had a play date with her son, and she hadn't really spent time with Sophie recently. They had met when they were babies, because COVID hit. So, but she was like, "Yo, that's you." I was like, "I don't see it." She's like,
"What?
Oh, everyone else does." I don't see it. I don't see it.
Everybody else does, including me. She's totally you. Trying to say she's your mother. Bruh.
So we go to church. We went to church, and this is a church that she was born at. She was born at this church, like, basically since she was a baby or whatever. And then the same thing, they're like, "Oh my God, she's 5 already. She's you. If I heard she's you one more time, I'm like, am I supposed to get offended?" But then I was like, she's really cool. She's a really cool kid. So I'm almost like, thank you.
No, she's.
But yeah, I feel like this self-love, self-care episode is really for our generation, because these younger girls, I don't think they're gonna have they don't really have a problem with self-love, self-care. Okay,
they do not. My daughter, like, she's already doing she has a skin care ritual. She has her hair.
Not to mention hair.
Hair care.
I use the products on Sophie because of the auties.
Oh my God. And she does like this whole wash and then leave-in and then combing through some other stuff and then braiding it just in case she wants to wear it out and making sure she sleeps on a satin pillow. And I was just like, I didn't know none of this shit coming up. That's why my shit was nappy. And I know people don't like that word nappy, but I'm going to use that word nappy on myself. Because my shit was nappy as fuck. For real. And I think that if I would have known more about curls and curl pattern and curl products, but also they didn't have them back in the day.
At all. Because you know what's funny? This whole 4C, I don't even know my curl type. Because the first thing she asked me, she was like, well, what's her curl type? I was like, girl, I don't know. I don't know what that means. But like 4C, 3A, like first of all, the curl type. And then, like you said, they didn't have curl hair. They had curly hair products? Never. At all.
They had gel and mousse.
That's it. And you had to figure it out. You had to figure it the fuck out.
Crunchy ass curls.
Which is what I'm giving today. Crunch, crunch.
No, those are good.
Crunchy, but I wanted
if you did that, them shits turn white.
Oh yes, like remember? Yes. Because the gel back then, remember, it was like the pink gel. It's the only thing you could get, the turquoise gel. Then you put it in, and then like an hour later, it's like white and crunchy and crusty. Girl, so you were like, don't move my hair too much. Just leave it right there. But I have these affirmations. They're called affirmators. They're actually really cool cards. And then the funny thing is that I picked this card today, which goes exactly with what we're going to talk about. So we're going to start, just so you guys have some background information, we're starting something called the Power Series. And this is the first episode in the Power Series, which is self-love, self-care. So we wanted to kind of do 3 to 4 episodes that really kind of encapsulate the Power Series to remind you of your power. We have a few very interesting ones that we will not mention right now. But we wanted to start Power of the Pussy. Is probably the one we're going to end with. Yeah. But Diana loves that one.
I do.
So we're starting off gently as we can on the podcast. And in the Power Series, the first one is self-love, self-care. But ironically, these are affirmator cards. It's like a bunch of them. It's like 50 of them. And then the one I picked today randomly was beauty. So I'm going to read it. And it's a picture of a peacock. And it says, beauty, peacock. See, this is me. I said, you love the word beauty? No. She loves the word cock, not peacock.
I like peacock.
I'm beautiful even when I don't think it. I'm beautiful even when I don't see it. I'm beautiful no matter how many people don't say it. I'm beautiful and I don't even care if you know it. I'm beautiful, which is why I don't have to try so hard all the time to show it. So let's get into it. Self-love, self-care, D.
Self-love, self-care. So I'm going to define both of them. So like that, we know the difference.
And she put the glasses on. So you know it's business. No, it's not so she could read. When Diana puts her glasses on, it's business.
It's business time. So self-love is having high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. I'm going to say that again. Not sacrificing your well-being to please others. I know a lot of people that do this shit, and that's why I repeated it. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. And in layman's terms, accepting yourself fully. Treat yourself with kindness and respect and nurture your growth and well-being. That is the layman's terms. Now, self-care is the practice of individuals looking after their own health using the knowledge and information available to them. It is a decision-making process that empowers individuals to look after their own health efficiently and conveniently in collaboration, don't go on WebMD, with health and social care professionals as needed. In layman's terms, taking care of your body with rest, nutrition, and movement. So those are the difference. sis, in self-love and
self-care.
They're not the same sort of kind of, but not really.
But you know what's funny? Even as you read them, I really think that people have a hard time with both. I think that women have a hard time with both. I think that brown women, Latina women, have a very hard time
Black women
with
too.
both.
Black women too.
That's what I'm saying. Brown women, black women, us, our women.
Yeah.
I think women in general have a hard time, but I do think that there is a generational advantage with Caucasian women because the spas, the massages, the whatevers is generationally they are ahead. Like, and I say it in a wider, broader, but it's true. It's like it's something you've seen in movies, very generalized. That you know, Diana told me the other day. You told me you had never been to a like a spa proper massage place before, Diana.
Right.
And that's crazy to me.
Yeah. And that was what, like 5 years ago?
Girl.
Yeah. That was my first time and I was blown away by it. And Milvet, I get massages by her, and it's just at first, you know, I was just like when Massage Envy first came out, remember that? They're a chain of massage people. I was just like, I don't want nobody massaging me. That was my headspace.
But that's the space because your space, and then also I feel like it's a mixture of, well, my body's not hurting. Well, what did I do to deserve a massage? Right. You know, there's so many. It's not like, it's almost the self-deprecation that goes through our head. So it's like before you become a mother, it's probably even worse. It's like, well, why? What's the, like, I'm not in pain. There's not, it's always this justification behind doing something like, for example, a massage. And it's like, there is no justification. It's so necessary.
It's so necessary to do both self-love and self-care. The way I think people need to practice a little bit more self-love. I actually had a conversation with a girlfriend yesterday. We were DMing back and forth. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much for this conversation. I needed it. And I was like, bitch, don't you know you a fucking boss? Like, if you need a fucking pep rally, call me and I will fucking remind you. Like, this is the thing that we get into our heads. We had a whole episode on self-talk, right? Negative self-talk. So you have to make sure that that positive self-talk is reigning supreme in there. Like, yeah, we got to be, you know, you almost have to be conceited about it, you know? Like, I get a lot of conversations with women where they're like, I don't want people to think I'm conceited. Why not? Fuck them if they think.
But my thing is, even if it's the conceited part, it's not. First of all, I think conceited is just a stupid word. But it's also like the real issue there is that you think too much about what people think about you.
Right.
And that's the real issue.
That's where I was going. And you have to make sure. Yeah, you gotta make sure that you nurture that positive self-talk. And like Rocio, she's talking about affirmation cards. I am sure that if you put into Amazon has everything. Or not even Amazon. Get yourself some fucking cards and write them down yourself. Write 100%. Down, you are beautiful, put it on the mirror. You're the shit, put it on the fridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if that negative self-talk, which is very fucking natural and normal, creeps into your fucking head, then you're looking around and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, this fucking, that show with the chick that had like all those affirmations all over the place. What with being Mary Jane? She had positive. I mean, the show was based on positive affirmations.
I never saw it, even though Michael was in it. I never saw it.
Everywhere she would like put a post-it up about everything. Whenever there was anything going on in her mind, she was like, fuck it. She would write something down and put it up.
Yo, so, and P.S. That works.
It works. You gotta, even if you gotta put on the I belong, I'm beautiful, I'm the shit, my pussy bomb, I give great head. You know, whatever the fuck you have to put, whatever the fuck you gotta put on a post-it, put it on there. Who cares? It's your shit. It's you. There's no one like you. Even twins are different. Like, you have to fucking just embrace your uniqueness. You have to make sure that in the self-love that you know who you are. And if you're still trying to figure out who you are, love that too. Who the fuck cares? Like, people be too much in their head about what people think. And I have friends that, oh, they're gonna say this, fuck them. Do they pay your bills? Do they fuck you? You know what I'm saying? Like, You got to get out of whatever people think. Like,
No, go in. I'm letting you go. Go in. I'm over
and,
here like,
and it's hard, right? It's hard because no matter how high your self-esteem is, you always are going to have lows. You are always going to have lows in your life. You're always going to have shit that's going to slap you in your face and bring you all the fucking back down. But then guess what? You get the fuck up. Like Jay-Z said, you brush it off and you keep it going. But then that's how you have the friendships and the relationships. You have to talk to somebody. If it keeps you down too long, then that's what therapy comes in. And that's when self-care comes in. Then you got to go to a professional and be like, I've been feeling like this a little bit too long. Can you help me out? All right? If it's taking pills, if it's exercising, whatever the fuck it is. But do it. That self-love is so important. It's so important because you don't love yourself first. Who the fuck gonna love you? You gotta love yourself first. Why the fuck do you think RuPaul says that shit on his fucking show? If you don't love yourself first, who the fuck gonna love you?
nobody.
Like, nobody. Because people are gonna take advantage. When people see weakness, they take advantage of weakness. But if you are loving yourself, that confidence, that shit just fucking radiates through your pores. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. That's why when people talk about you got resting bitch face. People tell me I got resting bitch face. I'm like, really? My confidence must scare you. It must be that. Because I don't think I have resting bitch. Usually I'm saying hi to everybody. Rocio, Nat, they call me the mayor. I'm saying
The mayor.
I be talking to people. I don't give a fuck if I don't know you. I will talk to you. Sometimes I feel like I gotta talk to the person because they're low. I feel they're low energy, and I'm like, oh, I give them a compliment or whatever. But it's like you have to make sure that you love yourself. Important. Okay, go ahead. I got some more stuff, but go. I want you to.
No, I think you
come into
touched
this
upon
space.
so many different things, and it's like I feel like the issue that we have with self love is that it's this, and not everybody, but it's this like, did your mom ever sit with you and really tell you you're beautiful, you're smart, you're amazing?
Mhm.
Like, even if these are the things she thought, which my mom still struggles with right now to this day, it's like she has no problem showing pride on like Facebook. She'll post my sister, she'll post me as a mom, blah, blah, blah. But it's like this thing of sitting with me, even since little, I never remembered. And I'm not saying she's a bad mother at all, because I've always felt like she's been proud. But also, I also feel like I've done a lot of things that anyone should be proud of. And so has my sister. But there's this disconnect of sitting with, for instance, your daughter and being like, I'm proud of you. You can do anything. Work hard, blah, blah, blah. Because she may not have gotten that. So it's like, I always go out of my way with my daughter, but I always am graceful with my mom and myself because I'm eons ahead of my mom with my self-confidence, with how I feel comfortable in my skin, with how all these things that allow me to be, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable to give out compliment, to pour from an empty cup, to pour from a full cup. It's funny because we get into this mindset, and you don't have to be a mother, but as mothers, where we just kind of do, we go and do and do and do and do and do and do and do. But in doing, right, if you're pouring from an empty cup, it's almost like you're just doing. It doesn't come with, and even though of course your kids see it and they see that you're there, or you're dropping off, or you're bringing, or you're organizing, or you're whatever, as kids get older, and this is like psychologically, and any therapist will tell you, they can sense energy. They can sense joy or lack of joy. They can sense, and then you start almost like crafting or creating these characters within them without even knowing, because you as a mother, you're like, well, I always brought them to their games, or I always did this, or I was always there, blah, blah, blah. But what is it to be there, present physically, but not to be there? You know what I mean? Because you haven't tapped into, or you haven't done the work to make sure that I need to love me first. I need to know, okay, what is it about that happened that triggered me? What is about this that happened that doesn't make me feel good? Like I've been in a season probably for the last 2 years where I'm proud of myself in the sense of like, and I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I constantly check in like, how does this make me feel? How did this conversation make me feel? I went through a season with my ex-husband where we would have to go to tons of events and we would have to do tons of things. And I just always would go. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, why am I like, sometimes it's so political that it's like, did I really have to be here? And even those small things, obviously supporting your partner, but learning that I could be like, no, I really don't want to go. I'm not going to this thing. But for a long time, I felt this pressure, even though, again, it's not like, it doesn't have to be this huge traumatic thing, but it's those little things where you keep giving in, where you keep just doing, they start to add up. And then you're like, well, fuck, damn, that was a waste of my time, was a waste of my energy. Or, you've come home from an event and you're like, that was a waste of fucking time.
And outfit.
And makeup. And now tomorrow I'm going to feel like I got hit by a truck and I didn't even have a drink just to go to this damn event. You get what I'm saying? So that's like, that's just like one example. It's like people always think self-love has to be like this deep meditative experience or like this deep, like, am I self-loving myself? Another thing is, and this is for people in relationships that I have found that, and I heard this on a podcast and it was just a reminder of something that I always try to remind myself that as women, or I have done in the past, which I don't do anymore, we really depend on our partner for all things to fill us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I have friends who are all about their husband and their kids. That's it. That's their nucleus. That's all they know, blah, blah, blah. Kudos to you, but I've never subscribed to that. I've always subscribed to making sure that you have solid female friendships, that you have different types of friendships. And obviously there's seasons for friendships, but I say that to say that to put all that weight and pressure on your partner is an unrealistic thing to do. And then what happens is you set these expectations and then you have resentment because they don't fulfill these expectations.
But then you're the one putting the expectation, not them.
Right. So it's happening here, but why? Right. Because you haven't taken the time to be like, fuck. And I've struggled with this, and Diana knows, where I've been like, I guess I just don't know. You know how people are always like, well, you got to find what Rocio loves. What does Rocio want? And you're like, bitch. You talk to a therapist and they're like, well, I spoke to a therapist and for in the hour, I think he said like 8 times, well, when is Rocio going to put Rocio first? And it was like, bitch, if I knew how to do that, I wouldn't be on this hour-long conversation with you, justifying every time you're like, well, when is Rocio going to put Rocio first? So I say that to say we get into these mindsets where we think it's like, how sometimes people who are not spiritual are just waiting for like Jesus to come down on a cloud and be like, well, that's my spiritual awakening. I saw him on a cloud. It's like, no, it's not going to be that theatrical, and it's going to take work. And guess what? It might be 2, 3, 4 years before you feel comfortable in your self-love journey where you're like, oh, wow, like now I'm really understanding what it is to put myself first. And lastly, or maybe not, but there's also this mindset of self-love being selfish. And they're not
selfish.
The same thing.
Fuck that though. Be selfish.
100%. But it's so for someone who struggles with that, they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
Sometimes you have to be a little selfish in your self-love journey.
Yep.
But they're not the same thing.
There was a shift for me in my relationship because I want to say that in the earlier years, just because of the way that I was brought up, that when you find yourself, your person, you throw your whole life into it. You do all that. There was a shift, and I won't go into the shift. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. No. Like, I need to make sure that I have a life separate from this relationship. I have to
And
make
I
sure.
saw it in you, and I was like, she's shifting.
Yeah, and it has to be different things that make me. It can't just be my kids, and it can't just be my husband. It has to be Diana's a great mom, Diana's a great wife, Diana is a great friend, Diana, you know what I'm saying? It has to be more than this hand. I want to be known for a lot of things. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I made sure, like, just to have a conversation, especially with my husband. And it was sort of kind of like a together type of thing where it was just like, yeah, because he was already doing, you know what I'm saying, his thing. It was just me in my head, and I'm like, well, shit, I'm home when I could be doing A, B, and C. So then it was just all about me making sure that I filled up my days with things that I wanted to do, to have that self love, to get that self care working. But it was important. It's important because it also encourages you, right? It encourages us to take care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally. Because just like Dr. Noel Casiano, he was on here. You want to go back and listen to his shout out to Noel. Everything that's happening in the mind and in the body, and then it becomes physical. Everything is tied together. And when he said that, I was just like, yeah, because when I'm having my anxiety attacks, mind you, I know how to manage them now, but like back in the day, man, recent 10 years maybe, I could not fucking manage it. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I thought I was dying. You know how many times I went to the fucking ER? I thought I had heart issues. I thought I had a fucking tumor in my head. I thought I couldn't breathe. You know what I'm saying? So
it's real.
All the things that were manifesting in my head came onto my body physically. And then, they gave me a little sign, and I was chilling. So it was just like, just having to take care of myself physically and emotionally, to protect myself from outside influences and people telling me things like, there's always people that's like, girl, why you cut your hair like that? Girl, why you wearing that? Oh, girl, why? You know what I'm saying? So those are like those things that creep in, and then now you're self-doubting. Now that self-negative talk, then like, shit, I probably shouldn't have cut my hair. Like when my hair was long for years, and I cut it, and I had so many people, including my mother, mija, ¿por qué tú te cortaste el pelo? There was this other girl that said, oh my God, you look like a lesbian. And I was like, what does a lesbian look like? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, so we're being open. You look like, and then she was like taken aback. I said, what the fuck? And I'm not going to say what I was, because she going to know who the fuck you are. But anyways.
But P.S., that happened to me recently with my cut.
But remember? It's like, you know what? I look like a lesbian. Thank you. Because I don't know any lesbians that are horrible people. No. All the lesbians I know are pretty amazing. And all the lesbians
I know actually have long hair, now that I think about it.
You know what I'm saying? And they're pretty amazing. So thank you for the compliment. Like, the fuck? Was that supposed to be a diss? It wasn't. It didn't land. Mm-hmm. But here I go, because I have self-love. I was able to retaliate and have the confidence to stand up for myself. Whereas another person will probably be like, oh my God, she's probably right. Oh my God. But you have to be able to feel good about yourself and have the confidence to stand up for yourself too. Like, all that is put together, because at the end of the day, that self-love is not only for personal, that is going to trickle into your professional life. Because if you love yourself and you're a shining star and you're walking through like, yes, I belong, I'm the bitch, people see that and they want to be a part of that. People want the energy and all that shit. Like, we were at Don Omar sidebar. We was rocking our little row. It was 4 of us and everybody else was sitting down because there was a whole bunch of fucking wet food stamps. But anyways, we were rocking it out, dancing or whatever, and everybody around us was like, oh shit. Like, throughout the whole show, they kept looking back at us, like taking pictures and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The energy, the vibes. They could tell. Like, so it's just like, I just wish more people took care of themselves and then just self-love. It's so crazy because some people, there's women that I know that are beautiful physically, just beautiful, no flaws, and they have the biggest insecurities. They have the biggest insecurities. They're beautiful people inside and out and have the biggest insecurities, and it's okay to have these insecurities, but at the same time, you have to love yourself Because there's people that say, "Oh, I can't find no man. I can't do this. I can't do that." Yeah, but you don't love yourself. So why would you even want to find somebody if you don't love yourself first? Because the person's gonna know whether you or not you love yourself. So then they're gonna use you, fuck you, and then they're gonna move on.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? So if they don't see self love, they're gonna take advantage of that. You're just gonna be a side piece. I mean, if you want to be a side piece, that's on you. But I hate that word, side piece.
That part.
Those words, side piece.
Are you getting pieced in the side?
In the
No.
side, you're getting a piece on the
On the side. Yeah. So it's to be this self-love journey has been enlightening, and I do feel like it's consistent. I feel like the self-love journey for women is forever. It's funny because you mentioned something about you said something when you were realizing that you needed to tap into your self-love journey, that your husband, you were like, he already has his thing. And it's funny because sometimes for men it's so simple as coming home and drinking a beer and watching TV. You know what I mean? And or it's so simple as hanging out with their boys for a few hours, or in their garage, or in their whatever, in their man cave. And they're just such, and this is a generalization because obviously not all men are the same, but they're just such more simple creatures. And that's what those memes on social media come by, where it's like, where there is a man who's completely clueless, there is a woman, and it's like thinking about 70,000 things that he may have done, that he's thinking that why isn't he doing that? Where is he going? And men are literally like, what time is the game tonight? Right. You know, and it's literally just kind of like, what is it? Women are from whatever,
Mars,
men are from Mars, women are from Mars. It's like, it's to me, I always say God has such a sense of humor, because what the fuck? It's like,
yeah. I mean, it took for my husband to say, he said, "Baby, I've been the same person since you met me. I've been going, like, I go to my boys."
That is key.
Yeah, it took that. And I was just like,
that is key.
Know what? You're right.
That is key.
And it took, and I think that's when the shift happened, because I was just like, he is right. Like he has been the same person. He's been the consistent person that he has been. You know what I'm saying?
He's right.
He's made some changes because we got kids and stuff like that. Like when we were dating and stuff, it was different. But once we merged our lives together, we had kids. He was totally right. And I was just like, yeah, like I'm putting all it's like his
version of growth. Right. And then what happens as women, I feel like men grow and women evolve. So it's different, because in your evolution, you start having expectations of your partner. And they genuinely are confused, because they're like, but I've always been this, you know, like, why is she now expecting me to become like a marathon runner? And I've never been that, you know, because now, for instance, if you're on your fitness journey now, because somewhere in your head, you also now want your partner to match you, because there are societal pressures that make you think, well, we should be doing these things together, or and it's like, that's where you start to not make it about self-love and more about like, what will people think? You know what I mean? Or it's like, even social media does an amazing job, because you see, like, let's say there's a couple and they always at the gym is their thing. And you're like, even the most self-confident woman is like, damn, like, I wish I could do that with my man, or like, I wish I could do that with my partner, because it just so happens that physical fitness is a form of self-care, self-love. It's something that, you know, it yells out healthy. It yells out all these things, when really it's like, that's never who I was.
Right.
You know, and I always go back to social media, because that shit could be a devil. Like, I'm on a social media fast since April 1st. And it's like, I come to realize, damn, how much time I spent like, boo, boo, or like fucking with my head. And I tend to believe that I have a lot of self-confidence, But now in this like single journey and this like really discovering myself and what I want in a partner, what I don't want, what I want for myself, blah, blah, blah. It's like when I find myself scrolling, I feel like what happens to my self-love is like chip, 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 chip.
For real?
It's like, yeah,
Oh,
because
man.
I feel like I chip away when I see 10% of reality in successful couples. You get what I'm saying?
Them motherfuckers don't even really be real. To me, everything.
But I know this. I work in branding. I know how the shit works. Like, and this is me fully equipped. Like Alicia said, you know, when I go to a show, I don't really see it for what it is. I see like, oh, how much is this? Or, oh shit, this, that, the production and da 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 da. Even with all that, I can look at social media and feel like, oh, well, damn, you know, maybe I should have like stayed.
I never, you know what? I never, like, ever since like MySpace. And
first of all, Don Omar has a song where he talks about MySpace. Sidebar. I looked at Diane and I was like, this bruh said MySpace. No sé de ella. No la encuentro on MySpace. No sé de ella. I'm like, yeah.
No, but even from when MySpace came on and, you know, all these social media things, once they started like launching off, in my head, I was like, I have to make sure with just my anxiety, and I have to make sure that I protect myself. So everything is entertainment. That's what I had. I just categorized everything as entertainment because there were so many people that I knew that were posting something and then their life is in shambles. So then I'm just like, that's not real. You know, it's not, to me, it's not real until I see it, right? There's people that take these pictures and they're like, Pakata, and then you see them in person, then they don't look like that. Or the filters, big time, the filters. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? So, mind you, I use the filters too, because sometimes I don't wear makeup, so then I got to takata, you know what I'm saying, el filtro. So I have to put on a filter, right? But it's funny how when I see people out, if I see them at K-Bar, if I see them at Red Rock or wherever I'm out, and people are like, oh shit, you actually look the way that you look on your Instagram. And I'm just like, yeah, but I get what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is not self-loving, right? And just putting this facade and listen, a lot of people do it for business. A lot of people do it, you know, to enhance their self-esteem or whatever the case may be, whatever, right? But that's the way that I saw it. And I think that's the way that I'm able to cope with it. Because if not, social media will have you out here thinking like you need to lose 140 pounds instead of just 40 pounds. You need to go buy this purse because if not, you're not cool. You got to make sure you drive this car. By the way, your man's not even all that. You got to make sure your man has these 17 other qualities on top of the 50. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you travel here because you're going to have the best time of your life. And the shit is that when we went to Puerto Rico, I want to say last January, we had such a great time because we were so disconnected. Like we took a couple pictures, but we were so disconnected from the social, and we were actually being social and being in the moment, right? So we weren't, and I think I want to be intentional, a little bit more intentional, and I'm trying, and I think I'm succeeding a lot at it, at not recording and posting everything. And then people are like, oh shit, I didn't know you were at the concert. Well, yeah, I posted a little something, but I was there too. Okay, but what do you want me to do? Go on stage and be
because
like,
you broadcasted it live. You broadcasted it live. You broadcasted the entire thing live. I know you were there.
I'm happy that you were at the concert too. What do you want me to say?
You were there. You were there.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get where you're coming from with that, but that's the way that I approached it.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I have to just be like, porque si no, mija. Imagine.
Porque si no, mija. Yeah, exactly. I've done social media cleanse, like fasting a few times And, with my birthday coming up, and just dealing with a lot of, I really felt like this weekend we did a thing in New York for Amber, my girlfriend who passed away a few months ago. They dedicated a bench to her where she used to be the track coach, which was really sweet, at this park in Washington Heights. But in this last month, I don't know if it's because of my birthday coming up, I really do get super introspective when my birthday's coming up. Not to put pressure, and I'm not an ageist. I love getting older. I think being in my 40s is the best. But I do feel like I haven't properly taken the time to spend time with myself, because it's like Amber got sick out of nowhere. I was traveling a lot to New York to see her. She passed away. I transitioned. I'm transitioning relationship wise. All these things happened. And then I realized a few weeks ago that I was like, I haven't sat in it. I've just really just gone through the motions of it. And it wasn't until a video of her came up and I went to text her. And I had done that before. I was on my way to New York a few months ago and I went to text her and I was like, hey, I'm on my way. And then when the video came up, I went to text her and I was like, Rocio, I haven't. And then this weekend happened and it was like, I haven't really made peace with the fact that she's not here. That I'm never going to see her again, that I can't text her, and I'm not going to get emo. But that with my birthday and transitioning, it's like, Rocio, you need to just kind of show yourself self-love and just take a step back, remove yourself from things that are clouding you, remove yourself from things that are not what you expected, whatever it is, and just kind of take this time to disconnect. And for me, that's a form of self-love. For me, that is a form of, even in my quietest moments where I want to cry, where I feel lonely, where I feel like I miss her, or I feel like, damn, what did I do? Or I even miss my ex-husband, or should I have stayed, or or am I being a great enough mother? It's like just not allowing myself to get distracted on social media, because it's very easy for you to be kind of trying to do this introspective work and then just be like, fuck it, let me just distract myself. And before you know it, you could be 2 hours distracted, just scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being like, now I'll just pick up a book, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll do more work. I found myself doing getting tons of things done. And just not going to the distraction that for me can sometimes lead me to be more questioning of decisions of my life, of where it is, of expectations that I've put on myself, or pressure that I put on myself to be at this age. Or again, as the birthday's coming up, it's like, damn, I didn't think I would be here at 44. I never thought I wouldn't be still married.
Bitch.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a big one coming too.
Bitch. Because it's like it's here before you know it. It's holy shit! Diana's gonna be 50.
Everybody around me is turning 50. I'm like, oh shit.
Yes, and it's
all my high school classmates. I'm like, well, fuck, that time go.
I'm telling you, and it's funny. It's not until when we went to Puerto Rico to see Daddy Yankee, Freddie was like, "Yo, bitch, you fucking did a photo shoot with this dude." And it's not to equate success with people I've worked with or anything, but it's like, you know what? Yeah,
but yes,
I have done so much, but in that there's a lot of pressure. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And it's this. No, it's not about what's next. It's what's now.
Right.
What's right now.
Right now. Right.
And
now.
That is a part of self-love for me, because I'm so big on what's next. What am I working on for next? What's the next big boom? What's the next whatever? And it's like, I just gotta sit in it. And even it's go through it. Just go through it. And self-love doesn't always look pretty. It's not always... I'm going to take this time. It's not always a deep meditative say. It's sometimes saying no.
And you got to embrace your uniqueness, because just with the social media shit, Yo, this whole shit will have you questioning everything about yourself.
Bitch.
With just the launch of a product. You know what I'm saying? With just the launch of a product, you could just be like, oh shit, that's not gonna fit me. Oh shit, that's not gonna look good on me. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to love yourself with all flaws, all nicks, all cellulite, all stretch marks, all of that shit. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself first. My husband loves every single inch of me. Sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, I gotta make sure, he'll be like, baby, you look like you beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah. Or I'll be at the gym. Like, I have friends. Julie, you're gonna kill me. I have friends that I think she looks amazing. I think she looks great. She looks
amazing.
Her muscle.
She does look amazing.
Like, and she'll be like, bitch, shut up. And I'm like, I understand, because I'm thinking
the self-deprecation is real.
Yes. And when you're at the gym, you can't help but to compare yourself. It's just, and you're not trying to, but you're like, shit, I want to look like that. Or in your mind, you have, like, in my mind, I know what I can look like, right? Because when I used to go to Sugar Taino, I knew what was the best shape I've ever been in and the way that I looked, right? And I could be in the best shape now. Like, I could fucking lift like crazy. I think I'm strong as fuck. But in my head, I look a certain type of way. And that's the way that I want to look, right? So then we start. So it's so funny because, like I was about to say, Julie, I'll say, bitch, you look amazing, whatever, right? So then I'll say something and she'll be like, oh.
But you can't say that about yourself, right?
Like, my bad. I get it now. I'll mind my business.
See?
Right.
But so for me, what the gym does to you, social media can do to me. And that's why I take the fast.
Yeah.
Because
can't take the fast from the gym, though.
It's funny for me. I don't know if it's because of being born with a birth defect, or as Diana says, I've always been on the slimmer side or whatever. But I've never gotten on a scale because lies. After I had my daughter, when I finally, felt like I could start my journey, I definitely went through a body shaming season. But I've never been one to be like, I've always been so happy with my body. I've always been so thankful for my body. I've always been so happy with it. And I do think it has a lot to do with being born with a birth defect, because it's almost like, motherfucker, you have no idea. Like, even sometimes when I work out and I have to do my hook or whatever, it's like, or my hook is sliding and I'm frustrated. And I'm like, bitch, you keep showing up though. You keep showing up.
Exactly.
And there's people who can lift barbells, because I get frustrated because I know I could do more weight, but my hook and my strap won't let me do more weight. So my trainer's like, you good. This is good weight. It's good. Even if you add weight, but it doesn't matter, because for me, it's like, I've gotten through so much shit that this is like, I have to get through this. So, but for me, it's now this perfectionist syndrome of, damn, I didn't expect I would be here. This is not what I expected for my life, because everything else was so planned out. You go to college, you get a job, you do this, and then from here you grow and you become VP and then president, and then and this season is so like, this was not in my plans. This was not what I thought was going to happen.
Well, you know what they said about God laughing, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. You make plans and God laughs. And for me, God is a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, when you created man and woman, you was cracking up.
You was like,
When you created these things about age gaps and men and women, you was cracking up, because the truth of the matter is, when you're in your 40s, you should really be dating a guy who's like 25, 26, 27. Okay. Straight up.
What the
and
fuck?
I'm not gonna shout out one of our followers, but she knows who she is, because we ran walks together on the walk. But she's in her 50s.
Shit.
And the sexual drive is out of control. And call it what it is. I will not. Call it what it is.
She listens though.
Rarely do you meet a man in this age bracket.
Oh shit. She's going in.
Who can keep up. Okay?
She's going in.
And usually if he does, it's because he has a lot of testosterone from working out a lot.
Or he's taking a pill. What are you talking about?
But this is what I'm saying. Or he's taking a pill. But I also don't want to have to deal with the fact that maybe after you get heartburn, you think you're about to have a heart attack. Like, there's a lot. So I say God did laugh, because in my 40s, I'm like, damn, I think a man in 28, 29 would probably be like compatible
like
to my drive right now.
That whole
he was 20.
Oh no.
But I'm going to Whole Foods today. I gotta pick some stuff.
Voy pa Whole Foods para comprarme un hombre.
I'm like, no, para robármelo, yo no voy a pagar. Yo no voy a pagar. And I gotta act like he's chasing me, because I don't chase.
Oh.
Anywho, but I want you to, what are some examples of how you exhibit self-care for yourself? Because we talked about self-love.
I was researching, right? Because I like to go to Google. There's 7 pillars. There are 7 pillars of self-care.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
There's mental, emotional, physical, environmental, spiritual, recreational, and social. 7 pillars. So examples that I take care of myself is eating meals at regular times, right? So you're supposed to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then some snacks in between, right? Drinking plenty of water, taking my vitamins, exercising, make sure I get enough sleep, even though, as you know from the Mike Ely episode, I have insomnia sometimes, and the gummies have been helping. But so yeah, those are some examples of ways that I take care of myself when it comes to self-care, making sure that you get your physical, making sure you see your doctor whenever there's an issue, and not just a physical doctor, also a mental one. We're very big on therapy on this show, as you guys know. And although I think I missed my calling, I should have totally been a therapist.
100%.
But I know the value in it, and don't know why it was such a taboo in growing up. I wish I would have had a therapist earlier on in my life, because then they could have told me about my anxiety. They could have talked to me about my body issues. They could have talked to me about my skin color issues, and those are things that I had to navigate on my own through trial and error. A lot of errors, but yeah. So yeah, you have to make sure that you take care of yourself in its entirety. As you see, there's 7 different pillars: mental, emotional, and a lot of people, I think, confuse the mental and emotional piece, because mentally, if you're not there, girl, because I know some folks, man, back in the day, their emotional situations out in the open. I think I had mentioned it before in another episode. I forgot which one it was, but they used to air out their shit in front of people, and I used to be like, yo, this is just some things that you don't do in public, like fight, with your spouse or your boyfriend or whatever the fuck you fucking. Like, you gotta make sure that, like, damn, that shit, and then you back with them. But anyway, looking like an idiot. Don't we all go through that shit though, of looking like a fucking idiot? And I'm not going to go back with him. Fuck that, I ain't gonna do it. Fuck that. And then you're like, girl, I have to take him back, girl, because I love him.
The dick.
Dickmatized. Dictamization
is real.
That should be a thing. That should be a thing.
Is real.
When people get abducted, dictamatized. I was stigmatized by that man. He put it on me. Hilarious.
Anyway,
my daughter's here. Come say hi. I talked about you at the beginning and about you.
We sure did.
And you getting into Howard. So just peek in and say hi. Like right behind me right here. Oh.
Congratulations.
She's like, congratulations. That's my daughter.
So I love that. For me, I now listening to the pillars,
Isn't
I
that
definitely
crazy?
struggle in the socialization aspect, I think, of self-care. And that's probably
Social
why,
or self
yeah,
care?
no, meaning I think what they say about self-care and socialization, and maybe I'm wrong, is making sure that you still socialize with friends,
Oh yeah.
that you still are. And I feel like I'm working on that. And that's why I do like gatherings at my house
Mm-hmm.
or, um, last week, which I'm planning to try to do tomorrow. We went for the walk run or whatever. It's just like really building fellowship, seeing new people, even if I don't become friends with them, just
Mm-hmm.
putting myself in situations where I'm forced to interact with people I'm not necessarily great at.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I am great at self-care has always been the physical. Like I love a hike. I love a walk. I
Mm-hmm.
love to work out. I've never been someone who likes working out with other people, meaning like I don't like waiting on friends to meet me to go work out. It's like, it's different if we're going to go take a class, but I don't like, even when I go on my walks or my runs here, I'll do 6, 7 miles. I put Sophie in this runner and I just go,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been really great at that. But now that you mentioned the pillars, I realize that where I struggle is the social aspect, which is funny because you wouldn't think self-care would involve socialization. You
Mm-hmm.
always think self-care is like, oh, well, how can you as a massage or
Mm-hmm.
like getting
Mm-hmm.
my haircut or doing my nails, but you forget about the aspect of how community and fellowship is so important to your mental health,
Mm-hmm.
to your spiritual health, to your emotional stability. Like there's so many, obviously it depends who you're socializing with,
Mm-hmm.
but they all kind of work together.
Yep.
And it's like, it's I forgot who I was having this conversation with, but it's like, I was having this conversation this weekend actually with my girlfriend Ebony, who was very good friends with Amber, and she is a therapist, and so is her partner. And as we were talking, she was like, "Are you speaking to anybody?" And I told her, I was like, "I've had a really hard time finding a therapist that works." And not to toot my own horn, but I believe, and I know for sure actually, because my dad is schizophrenic and I've been so intimate with mental health my entire life, I think that when I meet a therapist, I'm already a lot of steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I need to get to the good part. Like I need to get to the part where it's like, okay, Rocio, what's happening that's making you respond like this?
Right.
Like for me, it's deeper. It's not like, I don't know. I can't get it's not. It's like I am already, all the things are in motion that therapists say you need to do to
Mm-hmm.
kind of keep yourself together. I forgot what I was saying, but the point is that I was telling Ebony that I was having a hard time finding someone because I feel like it was becoming very girl talk and it
Mm-hmm.
was becoming very like catching up with a girlfriend. And
Mm-hmm.
I was having my own aha moments. And it's like,
I bet you ain't
and
helping me.
yeah, like I
I'm
kudos to
paying you.
people
I got
who don't
friends.
have, yes, like kudos to people who don't have those relationships. But I have friends like you. I have my friendships where I'm already having these very transparent conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, this is not what I need.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go deeper. Um, so I realized this weekend that it was like, not realized, but as I was speaking to her, I was like, I think I just need to find someone who can challenge me. It's almost like I am professionally. It's like I need to be challenged. I almost need to be like told the truth. It's like, is that really why you keep going back to that
Mm-hmm.
dick? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or what we doing? What you really doing? Instead of someone who's like, whatever makes you happy at the time. No, like that's no,
Girl,
no.
I've had, and I'm sorry because she listens. I have a friend that she would harp on no new friends, no new friends, right? And then say
I've made
something,
some of my better friends as an adult.
right? So she'll be like, no new friends, no new friends, but then turn around and be like, yo, I think I need to reassess my life. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? Because a life got a lot of shit in it. So let's dive in, but
Right.
let's see what's popping off. And she goes on to say, I'm lonely. I don't have any friends that, outside of you. She was talking about me and a friend group that we're in. She was like, I don't feel like I have friends that I could do other things with, like, and then she uses me as an example. She said, well, you have these group of people, then you have these group of people, then you have these group of people. And I was like, yeah, because I built that. Like, you have to make sure that you open yourself up too. Like, that socialization piece is important because you learn a lot from other people. Like, you can't
You
go
learn a
around
lot
talking
about
about
what you want and what you
what you
don't
don't
want.
want. Right. You can't go around talking about no new friends, and then turn around and be like, I'm lonely. Like, no, you have to be open to, because a lot of people go through a lot of shit, right? And I'm open to. I've had conversations with people, and they're like, oh my god, and then they're like, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about this, and I'm like, yeah. What do you think I brought it up, motherfucker? Like, I know you need to talk about it. That's why I brought it up. Like, you can't be shy to talk about some shit, especially if someone's been in your life constantly. It can't be, all your friendships can't be surface friendships. Like, it just can't be the tip of the iceberg. You gotta be, like, go to the bottom of the iceberg, how the iceberg just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? It gets bigger because that shit been there, and that is life experience, and the shit you go through is that iceberg, right? So the tip is just showing like, ooh, look at that iceberg. Oh. And then when you go
but
below the surface,
the body of the
body of that
iceberg,
iceberg,
exactly.
exactly. So you have to be able to dive deep with some of your friendships, because it's just like, and I could tell some people are just open. They don't give a fuck. They talk about everything with everybody. I'm not saying do that. Like, if you want to, that's on you. I know my audience. I'm very well versed at reading a room. Like, I only give what I want to give to some people. I'm transparent to the people that I'm comfortable being transparent with. You can't be open with everybody and then be like, why the fuck everybody in my business? Because you told them your business. The fuck? That's why everybody is in it. So if you're telling people your business, like, let's say, for instance, on Instagram, you're telling, and you may not be open and public to everybody, but there's an audience, and therefore they can show other people your business. So it's just like, I don't even know how I got there, but I'm just saying, you can't be going around talking about no new friends.
We were talking about fellowship and how important it is to self-care.
Yeah, you can make friends at church. You can make friends at the gym. You can make friends, and of course you're gonna have those surface level friends where you have a good time and you meet up and you just But you also gotta have those friends where you just let it all go. Just peel that layer of fucking onion and just layer it up. Keep going, get deeper, because you will see that other people will open up with you too. And if they love you, they will accept you for who you are, and that's part of the self care. You have to make sure that you're filling cups and that your cup is being filled as well. That's all it is. Like, you don't have to be like that with everybody, but do you have to make sure that you do have those key people that fill your cup? You can't go around just filling people's cups. Fuck, imagine.
And I wanna just keep it real and 100 too. Like, I feel like sometimes, not knock on wood, not in my older years, but I feel like sometimes we are very dishonest about people in our lives. Meaning, like, sometimes there's people who are in your lives just because y'all been friends since y'all were younger. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's people in your lives because they work with you or whatever. But you also have to be honest with yourself in when you decide to be on this self-love, self-care journey. That one, not everyone is going to understand and be cheerleading for you. And a lot of times it's going to be, oh, you acting different. Oh, you moving different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But this is where that whole, like, it doesn't, que dirá la gente doesn't matter, because a real friend, first of all, everybody's going through their shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single human being is going through their shit in their life. But a real friend, even if you find yourself having to be like, you know what, girl, I just really feel like I'm taking these baby steps to just be a better person. A real friend is like, dope. I love that. Even if she's not in that season, even if he's not in that season,
right.
It's a level of like, I'm your friend. I love you. I want the best for you. If you think that's the best for you, If you like it, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be honest with ourselves, because a lot of times we tend to think, oh damn, but she didn't understand, she didn't support. Girl, you know she's never been that person. Like,
Yeah.
she's never
Don't put
been
the
that
expectation
friend. You
on
get what
her.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she's that friend who's so insecure and so in a horrible relationship and so whatever, that's not what you ever gonna get back. It's almost like it's the message, not the messenger. It's that expectation you have of your partner, knowing he's been consistent this whole time, but you're like, but why isn't he growing with me? Or why isn't, it's like, it's about you. This journey is about self. It's not about
anybody
what
else.
People are going to see in you. If people are going to support you, it's about introspective work. And I just feel like we need to be honest, because I have different groups of friends, and I have certain friends where I'm like, I wouldn't have certain conversations with them. But it doesn't make them less of a friend.
Yeah, and you can feel it. You can feel it immediately when you're sharing something. Fuck,
where you're like, wait,
it's family members I can't do that with.
Exactly. Sometimes you're like, you know what, this is just too deep, and not everybody's gonna understand the depth.
Not only too deep, but no, this is too successful for this group.
Yes.
This is too, I'm shining too much. And I'm not saying for you to dim your light. That's not, that is never anything. That is never a thing that I want you to do, right? Is dim your light. But also you have to know your audience. And if you know that your success is going to make somebody uncomfortable, and then they're going to react in a way like, oh my gosh, she's always bragging. Oh my God. Well, then you don't share that with them. Because they don't deserve.
And more importantly, you need to reassess that relationship.
They don't deserve for you to share that with them. You don't. I have people in my life that are that way. They, instead of congratulating, they know that you've been through some shit. They know that the podcast is successful. They know that that I almost got that radio show or that TV show, whatever. And then, but you see them and they act like they haven't been following that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know what? So I'm not even going to talk about it. Because guess what? No matter what, I'm going to shine, bitch. No matter what. So put your shades on. Get an umbrella.
So bright.
Get an umbrella because it's going to be bright.
It's so bright.
You know what I'm saying? And the shit is that in the self-love and the self-care journey, I'm always 100%. Like, if somebody is looking good, I am like, yo, you look good. Your outfit look banging. Like, I am always giving positive affirmations. If I know you like that and you look crazy, I'm also going to give you what's going on. Like, what happened? What's popping off? Like, because if people got bad energy or whatever, I'm picking it up. So it's just like, what's going on? What happened? You need a hug? You need, and I've done that even to girls that I just met at the gym where they're like hype or whatever. And then they come in and, everybody's human. They have like a low day. And I'm like, yo, you need a hug? I'm like, I guess. And we hug it out. And they're like, thank you so much. I needed that. And I'm like, all right. But, just be careful about who you're sharing your successes with. And like Rocio said, you just got to reassess. And you don't really got to drop them because some people are your family. But just reassess and just share to those whom share with you.
Yeah.
Fill cups up that fill your cup.
I think it also, for me, it's really not having expectations of other humans. Just really not.
Oh my God.
Whether it's a relationship,
worst, right?
opposite sex,
we're
or
like,
a friendship.
Oh my God. And then the social media too. Because like you said, you're like, oh my God, but they're doing it. This person's doing it. And her man, her man doesn't even have a job. And he,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Or
right.
That thing you sent me where the guy the guy was doing Valentine's in a box and they're homeless, and then the guy had like flowers.
Yeah.
So you sent me that. I showed it to my husband. He was like, "So you want to be homeless?"
Right. Because no, the meme was like, if he want to, he will. Because it was a cardboard box on a street and there was flower petals left inside. So basically it was insinuating that he homeless and he still brought her some flowers. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But of course, Diana's husband was like, "Would you want me to be homeless?" You're like, goodbye. Conversation over. Over the head. over the head. But no, I think self-love, self-care, we could go on forever, but
it's important. It's important. You got to make sure you do it. Got to make sure you do it.
We see y'all, and we thought part of the Power series, self-love, self-care starts with you. It's like that biggest thing. So we're doing a few others, but Power of the Pussy is another one where we'll get a little more ratchet. And then we have a really interesting one, and hopefully it falls within the Power series of also being in your own power when you decide to get a cosmetic procedure. You get what I'm saying? So we're going to be talking to Dr. Payman, who is my plastic surgeon for my breast reduction, who is a huge Beverly Hills surgeon and renowned and has done so many people's work. I think he can tell us a few of the people. I'm sure there's a few other people that he won't be able to discuss with us, but he's amazing. Just his personality is so great.
Pro bono
and Diana's going to pitch her pro bono work. But I told Diana, I was like, it would be dope to, I know. He's probably gonna be like, you could come in with a discount for sure. But I feel like I pitched it to Diana in the Power series because again, there's such a taboo about surgery or plastic surgery. It's like, we know everyone's getting the mommy makeovers and the BBL. So why aren't you just transparent about it? Number one. Number two, I think the biggest issue that takes your power away is when you do these things for someone else. When you no longer, when it has nothing to do with something you want to do for yourself. Because as a mom, as someone who's always been fit, the extra skin in the front is like, it is what it is. It's like, if I'm going to sit and marinate on the fact that I feel like I want to keep working out, it's not going to go away. So which I don't, I'm not in this position. I feel very comfortable with it. Thank God. But there is a social media girl that I follow who, it's funny because I think she's gorgeous and she has 4 kids and she literally, I think her name is Joanie Bell. And she just got a mommy makeover. And she was like, I wasn't going to walk you guys through this journey, but then she decided to because she was like, I did this for me. She did it for herself. And she's someone, to me, she looks amazing. Like she's beautiful, her body, always smaller frame. But then when she like showed, she has the excess skin. She has like the mommy situation and she decided to get a tummy tuck, a breast. She looks amazing. But I love the fact that she was just like, I did this for me. I've worked out. I've tried everything. I'm eating healthy and and it's not happening. And when I look in the mirror, I feel like, damn, I want to be happy with my body. And I was like, I think culturally plastic surgery is so taboo for us anyway, that I think having Dr. Payman on and being able to ask him questions, and then we're going to have some fun with him and ask him about summer bodies and what people are doing. I want him to talk about all the men that come in there because there's a lot of men getting plastic surgery, ladies. So maybe he'll give a discount code. No, he will not.
I want him to do that shit for free. Let's see.
Oh, well, there it is. From your mouth to God's ears.
The gods of plastic surgery. I just need a little lipo. That's it. Just a little lipo.
And you know what he's going to say? I love him because he's like, whatever you want. Whatever you want. What do you want? What's going to make you happy?
I'm like, listen, Dr. Payman.
Listen, Dr. Payman. He's the best. What else is in the Power series? We did self-love, self-care, Power of the Pussy. Self-esteem. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Self-esteem.
So, girls, men, everybody in between.
Secret listeners.
Take care of yourself. Self-love, self-care, because if you don't love yourself, who the fuck gonna love you? Shit, you gotta love yourself first. Mm-hmm. And take care of yourself while you're loving yourself. I mean,
that part.
Yeah.
Duh.
I was gonna say something nasty, but
I know you were, and that's why I said, let me take a pause in case she tries to come with it. But you know what you did? You gathered.
I gathered
and thought and said no.
I'll leave it for the power of the pussy.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so fun.
Power of the.
Did you even know you had that power?
Did you know that a rainbow can come out of your pussy?
Jesus, that pee was so strong.
Yeah, I was nasty anyway. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Goodbye.
Get your Kegels in, girls.
Oh, Jesus.
Enough. Grip that dick. On that note,
And we cannot share, but we learned a lot about lesbians, and they don't even need
a strap-on.
We learned a lot.
Listen, they need to teach a class to these motherfuckers.
100%. Because I was intrigued, reassessing my sexuality in so many ways. I was like,
right? Shit.
Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Gracias for listening to Cositas Mommy Never Told Me. We hope you loved this episode. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and share Cositas Mommy Never Told Me on all your social channels. Todas las redes sociales. And don't forget, if you want in on the real tea and see all of our reactions to the craziness, watch this episode on YouTube. ¡Qué bochinche!